Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order and begin with our land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge that the ground on which we live is the traditional territory of Caldwell First Nation, of the Three Fires Confederacy, and the original people of Point Pelee and Pelee Island, and its surrounding lands and waters, and that of the Huron-Wendat and Wyandot peoples. We recognize and respect the First Nations who are stewards of the land and waters of Turtle Island and who have embraced this stewardship since time immemorial. We would also like to acknowledge contributions of other nearby First Nation communities and all original people across Turtle Island. We're going to begin with the adoption of our agenda for April 28th, 2026 public planning meeting. Moved by Councillor Rito Spagnolo, support by Councillor Segan. All in favor? And that carries. Any disclosures of continued interest? There being none. We'll go into the purpose of the meeting. The Planning and Development Department of the Town of LaSalle is in receipt of an application for a zoning bylaw amendment submitted by Amico Dominion Golf Incorporated, represented by Amico Properties Incorporated, regarding approximately 45.52 hectares of land known as 6125 Howard Avenue, currently designated Golf Course District, and zoned Golf Course Zone GC, to introduce a site-specific zoning bylaw amendment to permit up to 6 stay-and-play units associated with the golf course. Pursuant to the Planning Act, RSO 1990, CP 13, a notice of public planning meeting dated April 7th, 2026 was published on the town's website, placed in the mail, and emailed at least 20 days prior to the meeting date, a copy of which is attached here too. Report PD-2026-14, dated January 29th, 2026, contained herein, has been prepared to provide the public with pertinent information as to the specifics of the application during the statutory public planning meeting. So item 1, public planning meeting for file Z-01-2026 at 6125 Howard Avenue will be presented by Ms. Prince and Mr. Amicone. And I guess you'll be controlling the, IT will be controlling the presentation for you if you want to come forward.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and members of council. It's a pleasure to be here. I haven't been here in a long time. It gives me a little bit of remembrance, I guess, of the Parkway days. So it's good to be here on a different file, let's say. Derek Amicone is with me this evening, and he'll be walking council through a short presentation that we've put together. And then between the two of us, we'll try and respond to any questions that council may have. Thank you.
Whenever we're ready. Oh, next slide. Thank you, members of council, for meeting with us today. So the purpose of this meeting is to discuss the stay and play units that we're proposing at Dominion Golf Course. So what is a stay and play unit? Stay and play unit means an overnight accommodation unit located on the same lot as the golf course, intended exclusively for overnight lodging by persons participating in golf activities. So in our agreements with people who buy this golf package, we would list these items as that be occupied for no more than 3 consecutive nights, operate only during the active golf season, be available only as part of a golf package, and not be used as a dwelling unit for continuous residential occupancy. That photo there is actually of the interior of our stay and play unit that we have available at our shop in Oldcastle. Next slide, please. So the development proposal, as you can see, is 6 stay and play units. The phase 1 there, that's one building. We're going to propose just to put up one for now, make sure it works, make sure it's viable. So yeah, the proposed development is up to 6 stay and play units. Units will be accessed by golf carts only, and you would park in the main parking lot by the golf dome. Each unit will have 1 or 2 bedrooms, a small kitchenette, a washroom, and a living room. The intention is that meals would be had at the restaurant, so you don't really have to cook inside the unit. It's more just sleep and hang out and go play a round of golf. Next slide, please. So the proposed zoning. So we're proposing a site-specific zoning amendment to place the site in a golf course zone-defined area, specifically permitting stay-and-play units as a defined accessory building and use. Stay-and-play units are not identified as an accessory use under the golf course zone, so while recreational facilities are permitted, the zoning framework does not permit the proposed use. And in this slide, we don't talk about the Town of LaSalle official plan, but it does conform to the OP. Section 4.10A, the town OP recognizes golf courses as recreational and tourism assets. The intent of this designation is to promote the long-term functionality and viability of these resources. Permitted uses include golf course supportive land uses such as the clubhouse and pro shop that are on site. The stay and play units constitute a complementary golf course supportive use, functioning in the same way as other permitted uses like the clubhouse. The units provide short-term accommodation that enhances the recreational and tourism function of the golf course by facilitating overnight accommodation for golfers. In summary, we are aligning with the intent of section 4.10A. The development promotes the long-term viability of the golf course as a key recreational and tourism asset. We also looked at the County of Essex official plan. The county OP designates the site as agricultural, as it does with all property outside the settlement area. Section 4.C.6, the OP recognizes tourism and recreation as important contributors to the county's economic and community viability. The stay and play units provide accommodations for golfers, directly supports their objective by enhancing tourism infrastructure associated with the established recreational facility. By offering overnight stays, the proposal captures additional economic benefit, such as increased local spending on services, food, and retail, contributing to the broader county economy in accordance with the OP's tourism emphasis. We also looked at the provincial policy statement 2024, section 2.1.6a. The PPS encourages municipalities to support economic development, including tourism and recreational-based activities. The proposed development aligns directly with this policy by providing recreational accommodation in the form of stay-and-play units. The units will enhance the economic viability by attracting tourism, increasing length of stay, and generating additional local economic activity. By fostering a niche tourism opportunity, the proposal contributes to the diversification of the local economy in a manner consistent with provincial objectives. Next slide, please. So this is just a breakdown of the proposed changes to the zoning bylaw and the golf course zone. Under permitted accessory building and use, you will see that we just add stay and play units as defined. There's no other changes to the zoning bylaw besides that. As you can see also in this photo, that's kitchen and living room area of the stay and play unit. Next slide, please. So why modular construction? So it's a 684 square foot modular unit built in 2 steel frame modules with A-Links CSA accredited indoor facility. CSA just means that we conform to Ontario Building Code. The advantages of the modular construction is weather-free construction, high precision, faster timelines, durable structure, cost certainty, and minimal disruption. Prior to the module being delivered to site, foundations are prepared with all the services in it. Once ready, the unit is craned into position, the roof is put on, and the unit is connected to the services. Plumbing, electrical within the foundation already. If the anticipated demand for the stay and play units is not met, that same crane can come in and take the module out. The potential success is unknown, so we're going to do one right now as a test. Next slide, please. All right, I guess that's it.
So if I could just add a couple of things. So when Amoco purchased Dominion Golf, I think there was a lot of speculation and questions about what the intent was. We weren't really sure what the intent was at the time of purchase. However, since that, it's over 2 years ago now, and it would seem that Derek and his brother Justin like owning a golf course. And so Amoco is now investing money into the golf course to ensure that it's a viable financial operation in the town of LaSalle for the longer term. You may have noticed we redid a significant portion of the parking lot last year. This is the next step in our sort of revitalization program for the golf course. And so our intent at this time and for at least 10 years is to continue to invest in this golf course and make it, something that the town will be proud of. We think one of the ways to drive the economics of this particular use is to invite people to come and stay overnight. Golf packages are very popular in northern Michigan and so on. And we thought we'd try with just one unit. If it succeeds as we expect it will, then we would like to put as many as 6 on the site.
Thank you very much. Turn over to administration for any comments.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good evening to you and to members of council. As is reflected within my report for tonight's agenda item, the application, as was mentioned at the presentation before me, the application is consistent with the provincial planning statement, as well as does conform to both the county official plan and the town's official plan. I did want to add just 2 notes about the town's official plan that we do have within our official plan section 4.1E that notes that expansions to existing golf course uses are subject to a site-specific zoning bylaw amendment, which we're here for today, and a subsequent site plan approval. So just to note that, after, if a zoning bylaw amendment is approved and a bylaw comes to council, they're also going to be going through the site plan approval process with staff. And also on the official plan, just want to also note that permitted golf course supportive land uses do include items such as clubhouse, restaurants, fitness facilities, and other complementary uses. So this stay and play unit's proposal tonight would fit under that other complementary uses. Further to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment, again, we're looking at introducing a new definition. Of course, we don't currently have stay and play as a definition in our bylaw. So if the bylaw was to come back to council, you'll be seeing a new definition. We will include things such as minimum parking requirements within our bylaw. Also, of course, permitting at this time a maximum of 6 of these stay and play units. And we're going to specify, that these are only permitted during the active golf season, only to be utilized by those utilizing the golf course, and to only be part of this golf package that they've proposed, and that they are absolutely not to be used for long-term tenancy. Again, that is not the intention here, and that's not something that we'll be including in the bylaw. In fact, we're going to be restricting it from allowing that. We did circulate, as was noted at the beginning, to the public and to external agencies. To date, I have not heard any comments from any members of the public. The only agency that I did receive any comments from was IRCA, and nothing to be concerned. It was a regular comment that they are within the IRCA regulated area and that they'll need to obtain approval prior to building permits. And of course, because this is going through site plan control at a later date, we'll be in continuous conversation with IRCA to meet any of their additional requirements. So with that, I just wanted to mention that, as noted in my report, that it is recommended to support the application before us. And I'm happy to answer any additional questions that the Mayor Council may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There are obviously no public comments this evening, and we didn't receive any written submissions, so we'll go right to questions and statements by council members. Deputy Mayor Capata.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to the presenters. Just a very simple question. I don't golf. I golf terribly, but I love the clubhouse there. So I just want clarification. If there's a function at the clubhouse, because I've gone to couple functions there before, can I book one of these things, or do I have to golf? Because I've got some relatives that will come up from Chicago that are bad golfers too, that at least we can put them in a safe place. So that I just want to make sure that if the function's taking place on the golf course, is that available?
No, so you'd have to purchase a golf package to stay in the units.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Rendo and then Councillor Segan.
Thank you, Worship. Like my colleague here, I don't golf, sorry, but I am a fan of what Amoco does in the community. I have yet to see something that wasn't 100% from Amoco. So I would imagine these aren't going to be a little pole barn stuck in the middle of a field. These are going to be quality units. So I don't see anything wrong with what we're doing here. The fact that you may bring at first 4 new foursomes to a parking lot that probably can handle 6 or 8 more foursomes. I think it's wonderful. I think it's good for your business, and it will also turn around and be good for the town of LaSalle and our region. So thank you for bringing this forward, and I will support the motion.
Councillor Seguin?
There isn't a motion.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Anything we can do to support LaSalle businesses is good to be. And I really appreciate the fact that you put this proposal together. I've had the opportunity to golf and use the facilities at Wooden Sticks up in Uxbridge, north of Toronto, and they have the stay and play there, and they are beautiful units and well received by the users there. Unfortunately, I haven't been there lately, particularly with this on my arm here, but someday again. The one question that I do have, and I'm asking administration if they can help me with the question. To me, I'm wondering if this belongs under our short-term rental policy because of the nature of what is happening here. And when I say that, I may be answering my own question right now, because under page 4 of 9 in the package here, policy and consideration comments, the Planning Act also requires that all decisions made by LaSalle Council conform with land use designations and policies contained within both the County of Essex official plan as well as the municipality approved official plan that are in effect at the time when the application is received. Seeing that we don't have the final policy on the short-term rentals, am I correct in assuming that this is moot then? In other words, this can move forward because the application has been received?
Thank you for the question through you, the chair. So it's a good question, and it's something that we did actually consider at the outset. When we were going through the short-term rental program, we did, think about the application of the STR program for this specific use. I actually didn't talk about that with the applicant at the time because we were just pondering it with the consultant, and we sort of landed on, the STR program is more suited to when there's a principal sort of residential use and residential function. And this particular application is dealing with a sort of a non-residential function, right? It's a golf course, it's a commercial use, it's a recreational use at its outset. So the intent is kind of different. I also was very cognizant of the timing. So I knew that the applicant, I happen to know the applicant quite well. And I knew that the timing of that program wouldn't line up for her timing to want to get these stay-in-plays in operation. So we haven't quite decided on whether or not we're pursuing that STR program. It's subject to budgetary consideration. So I didn't think that timing would particularly work in this instance.
All right, thank you for that consideration. Appreciate it.
I have Councillor Regis Bagnola and Councillor Burns.
Thank you through you to the applicant. I love the idea. I've seen it in the region already at another local golf course, and it's very well received. So I think it's great to just draw in the tourism. The question I do have, Christina did answer a couple of them, but when would construction start with this?
So that's a bit of a tricky question because we have a modular facility called A-Links, and we actually built this unit as a research and development project for A-Links. So the actual unit itself is constructed. We weren't prejudging council's decision. We would use it for another purpose if we were not successful with this application. What we would need to do is complete our site plan process with administration, then prepare the foundation to place the unit on. We put the unit on, then we come with a crane. So it's like a week. Everything plugs in, we put a roof on it, and it's ready to be occupied. So we would like to take full advantage of this golf season, if at all possible. We're ready to go whenever the town tells us we can.
Councillor Burns?
Okay, I don't see anything on any of the drawings of where you're going to hook into the septic tank out there, so that I have a concern there. And when I look at this diagram, I can see 3 more units back in here, so I'm wondering why you didn't propose that. Or is this the second phase?
So first of all, these are really expensive units, right? Like they cost about $600,000 each to construct. We think if we, we have to be careful of how much we invest in this golf course. We're trying to do a lot of turf management stuff as well, and so on and so forth. So, Councillor Burns, that's where we have the big Dominion sign with the trees and the lights and everything. We just redid all that last year, and so I was told we couldn't undo that. And so we put it in a different location. In terms of the services, for the first unit, we're looking at a holding tank, and then and we have a contract to have that pumped out on a regular basis. And then what we'll do in the fullness of time, we're doing a lot of work on the current septic facility at the course that services the clubhouse. And while we do whatever upgrades are determined to be necessary there, we'll make sure that all the stay and play units are accommodated in that upgrade.
Thank you very much.
No other questions or comments? Yes, my only question goes back to the STR comment. If this isn't an STR and this isn't a hotel, what is this? What would it be classified as?
A stay and play unit with a new definition in the zoning bylaw. So when we bring back the zoning bylaw, the site specific zoning amendment for adoption, it'll have all of those particulars on it. And we'll come up with a definition, working with the applicant, of course, and it'll have a host of regulations associated with stay and play units.
Okay, and then my next question would be if we ever were to move forward with MAT tax applicable?
Great question. Maybe we'd have to look into that. I don't see really why it wouldn't be, but we'd have to take that back.
And then my final question, I love the idea. Why are we restricting to only golf season? Couldn't that be used as an STR in the off season, or is that a preference that you've proposed? Or I know people are always looking for it and it's kind of outside of residential areas, so it would be nice, I think, as an addition, but.
So it's very tempting because it's a sizable investment, and if we could get year-round use out of it, that'd be great. The only thing is our staff during the non-golf season is very minimal, and we didn't think we'd be able to properly staff it to ensure that it's operating in the way that it should, so that we continue to be a proud partner of the towns. And so for the first go-around, we wanted to restrict it to when we have full staff complement on site. And then we'll, if we see a big demand in the winter months, we might come back to you and talk to you about, we're willing to increase staff and do this and that. But we just, we didn't think that was right for the first step, if you will.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Well, no other questions? The recommendation is before you, so there's 2 to choose from. So it's at the report of Manager of Planning and Development dated April 8th, 2026, PD-2026-14, regarding Z-01-2026 be received and that council support one of the following options. I'm going to assume the second option, if all issues are resolved at the public planning meeting, the requisite zoning bylaw amendment will be brought forward for council's consideration at a subsequent council meeting. Agreed? Moved by Councillor Reno, support by Councillor Segan. All in favor? And that carries. All right, with that, that's all I have for today. Thank you for coming. Yes.
I just wanted one other comment, if I could. We're deeply disturbed by the lack of golf being played by this council. So we do invite you to please come. But please come as our guest anytime to play. We'd be very proud to host you, and that would include lunch or dinner at the clubhouse after. So please always feel welcome. You would be honored guests at our facility.
I thank you for the offer, but the optics may not go well with the commissioner.
Well, I waited till after the motion.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.